Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Midcat Advisory. We are thrilled to have you all here for Fraud Investigation Augmented by AI and Technology webinar hosted by Midcat Advisory. The topic for today's panel discussion is AI, a double edged weapon in fraud. I am Ruth Pereira, Investigation Manager in Midcat Advisory. I'll be your MC for today. Before I move towards agenda, few things to note. Certificate of participation will be allotted to all of those who stay till the end of the webinar. Also, if you have any questions, please post in a question answer box and not in the chat box. This question answers we'll try to answer by the end of the session. Moving towards the agenda, first we will begin with the introduction of Medcat by our client success manager Harshita Suryavanshi. Then we will have Professor Triveni Singh for keynote address. After that, we have Mr. Sharad Kumar for opening remarks. Post that, we will have panel discussion on AI, a double-edged weapon in fraud, moderated by Colonel Avijit Tanti, who is our head of investigation. Post panel discussion, we will have a question answer round, and we'll end the session with the closing address by our CEO and co-founder Pawan Desai. Now, to begin with the session, we have Harshita Suryavanshi, who will give the introduction of Midcat.
Thank you,
Harshita,
Ruth.
over to you.
Thank you, Ruth. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Harshita, Client Success Manager at Medcare, serving clients across the globe. Thank you for enriching this inaugural FIAAT event with your gracious presence. While I can see many familiar names and faces, for some of you who may not know us, I will say a few words about Medcare. Co-founded and co-owned by industry veterans, India, Singapore, and London-based, Midcat Advisory helps organizations and communities thrive by preempting and managing operational risks and enabling sustainable resilience. We serve customers in nearly 50 countries across 5 continents. Our clients include world's most respected organizations, including 50 of the top 100 global corporations. Midcat's AI open source intelligence platform, DataSurfer.ai, provides near risk time alerts and human created advice for decision advantage. We provide a range of geopolitical, security, and integrity consulting and assurance services, all with a view to keep organizations safe, secure, and resilient. Our in-house consultants have been involved with security engineering and design of critical infrastructure in government and private sector. Midcat has been involved in investigations since many years, mainly brand protection, fraud investigation, employee vendor nexus, workplace investigation, and other corporate investigation for both Indian and foreign clients. Certain impaneled and ISO 27001 certified organization, Midcat's cybersecurity and resilience team specialize in strengthening data security, privacy, and operational resilience, as well as in post-breach remediation. Winner of several awards, Midcat has been part of Stanford's LEAD program batch of 2020. Our leaders are routinely invited to share their thoughts at leading global business, leadership, and security conferences across the world, as well as by Institute of Strategic and National Importance. As a knowledge partner, we support a number of prestigious events such as IPSAT, Outstanding Security Performance Awards, OSPAS, South Asia, Safe Secure Workplace, etc. We host in-house events, Midcat Annual Risk Symposium, or Mass Presenting to India, Asia Pacific, and EMEA, sector-specific thought leadership events for BFSI, tech, and data center, as well as our unique annual WISER event, Women Intelligence, Security, ESG, and Resilience. Today's event has been curated by our investigation and marketing team. We look forward to an exciting event and to great participation from each one of you. Do follow Midcat Advisory on LinkedIn and Instagram page. And finally, I would be failing my duty if I do not say a big thank you to our customers who have been such an incredible part of Midcat's entrepreneurship journey. Thank you. Now I would like to hand it over to Ruth.
Thank you, Harshita, for a brief introduction of MidCat. With that, let's move to our first keynote address. For keynote address, we have Professor Triveni Singh, an ex-IPS officer specializing in cybercrime. He is an expert in cracking complex cybercrime and financial fraud cases. He has wide exposure in investigating cases related to anti corruption, vigilance, economic offenses, money laundering, and cybercrimes. He has been awarded Police Medal for gallantry by President of India. He is more popular as a cybercrime investigation specialist and is widely known as Cybercop of India. He has dealt with almost every type of cyber criminal and investigated more than 200 types of cyber crimes, followed by arrest of thousands of criminals using an intensive technical investigation process. He is a popular cybersecurity speaker and advisor. His research work has been published in many international journals and publications. He has done PhD in financial cybercrime management frauds. He is also the resource person for various central investigation agencies and judicial bodies. Let's welcome Professor Triveni. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, so I can start with hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
May I
Yeah,
record?
sir. You.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
now,
please, sir.
now I am no longer part of police. I recently I took VRS. That's why I'm not right now. I am not part of the investigation team. But we are into technology. We are looking at crime from technology angle. So your topic is AI-enabled crime or technology-enabled crime. More you are focused
Sir,
on
I cannot
investigation.
see you.
You cannot see me.
No, no, I can see you. We can see.
Yeah, you can see me. So your topic is investigation through AI or with the help of technology. But I will focus more on the crime happening with the help of AI and technology. So if we are going through news article in last 3 days, yesterday only UPSTF cracked a gang where the criminals they were operating a cyber slavery farm somewhere in Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand. Thousands of Indians they are recruited in the name of call center job. And they are pushed there. When they reach there, I mean Thailand or Cambodia or Laos, then they are pushed into that cyber slavery farm, and they are asked to commit all kinds of cyber enabled, crime. And major among those are this digital arrest, number one, and number two, sextortion. And all these two crimes, be it digital arrest or sextortion, is it's happening with the help of AI enabled tools. Like they are creating a deep fake video, deep fake image, and then they are threatening, sometimes becoming police officer, sometimes playing the role of ED and CBI, and blackmailing and threatening to send them to the jail, because they have created their own setup. In their call center they have their CBI office, their ED office. Then they say that some courier was going, your KYC is there, your Aadhaar card is there. And now these various agency are investigating into that, like ED and CBI. Normally people, legally there is no digital arrest as such in any parts of world. It's not a legal term. Neither anyone can arrest you digitally. There is no provision. But what is happening, and it's not happening in 2 3 cases, in thousands of cases, on the daily basis coming, that he has been cheated by digital harass, and he has paid 10 crore rupees, 3 crore rupees. And it's not the layman people, those who has been former DG, for example, the former DG Punjab, major general rank officer from Noida, they lost 3 crore, 2.8 crore rupees. A famous industrialist from Ludhiana, he lost 9 or 10 crore rupees. So on the daily basis we are getting this kind of cases. if we analyze it further, I was talking to the investigator yesterday who handled the operation, and they arrested few people from Gurgaon. He was telling me that they are using deepfake technology, in some of the cases, to create the synthetic video of actual police officers in their uniform, and they are creating their clone voice, so sometimes if he is not available, in reality, not they, really they are using this deepfake videos and deepfake voice cloning, to commit the crime. Yesterday only, the Bihar, in state of Bihar, SSC examination was being conducted, and TCS was the online examination partner. So what the criminal did, they become the part of the intranet of the examination center, sitting beside the examination hall. There was a different room. The criminals were sitting with fingerprint scanning tools, and because the only authentication measure was your fingerprint. So what they used to do, uh, in a room just beside examination hall, the criminals were sitting. They were scanning the actual fingerprint of the examinee. The fact was that imposter were sitting in the examination hall, and from outside they became the part of the network, and then an actual fingerprint of the examinee was being stored in the system. But the fact was that imposter were sitting inside the room. So if anyone can compromise any examinations system, being outside the network through some remote access tool, then you can imagine, and it's happening for the last few years. I have seen TCS or all the examination conducting body, private in examination conductors, they have not improved their system so as to stop all this intrusion from outside. It's happening since last 10 years, and in majority of the examination, they compromise sitting outside the network. We conducted a operation in which 146 crore rupees was transferred from a bank to a criminal's account. 146 crore. So what they had done, they had become the part of the intra-network by compromising the physical access of the bank. They had installed their own laptop. On their laptop, they had installed two remote access tool, and on two different system of the bank, they had installed keylogger. So by sitting outside, by compromising a whitelisted IP, they were intruding through remote access tool, and then accessing the two system of the bank on which keylogger was there. They were reading the credential of the branch manager, assistant branch manager, and with the help of maker and checker ID, they transfer 146 crore rupees from bank to their own accounts. So now the criminals, they have gone so techno savvy. Now they have gone so technically advanced that they are using, even yesterday, the STF operated, and they found that the criminals, they were asking the innocent gullible mule accounts holder to download APK file on their phone. Once you download APK file on your phone, the criminals, now they have the remote access to your phone, and they can operate your account, bank account, like you are operating, because they are remotely connected through some malware APK file to your phone. So this is happening. Criminals sitting outside India, they are sitting in China, and they are doing all banking transaction from the account of the Indians sitting outside, because they have got access to their device through APK file. They had got innocent customer to download certain APK malicious application, and getting remote access and operating your entire bank accounts, and from bank accounts to the crypto, and then from local crypto exchange, from there they are taking this money to Binance International Crypto Exchange, and from there, by using mixer technology and other, they are distributing this cryptos into different private wallets. So now you think from a police angle or from an investigator angle, how complex now it has become to investigate the case. The malware is involved, AI enabled deep fake videos are involved, how to detect deep fake video, whether this is a genuine one or a fake one, how to look at someone, whether Mr. Triveni Singh is speaking or his clone is speaking, because now deepfake technology has gone so to the next level, that if they are creating my deepfake, it will look as good as I appear in physical format, so it's it's getting difficult for the police, for law enforcement agency, or for that matter, corporate investigator to do the forensic, real-time forensic, because it's very complex. There are no forensic tools available right now to detect immediately whether this is a phishing mail, whether this is a deepfake videos, synthetic video, or this content is not, it has not been created by AI tools, because they are creating with the help of AI. They are creating phishing pages. They are drafting professional mail. They are and they have set up their own criminal network of bot. The bot is operating like a human, and they are doing all kinds of cyber crime and criminals. Even yesterday news, the Interpol, with the help of private sectors and with the help of 75 other countries, they dismantle a huge malware infrastructure in different countries. They brought down several malware nodes and all that, servers. They disable servers from where the sophisticated malware or ransomware were being distributed all over board. So you see, unless and until there is cooperation between a law enforcement agency of different countries, with the help of Interpol, or unless and until we are taking the help of corporate investigator, no doubt they are more skilled, they are more resourceful, in terms of knowledge, in terms of tools, capability. We cannot investigate the case, and that's why in last 3 years, India registered more than 36 lakh cybercrime cases, and simply 1% conversion rate into FIR. I mean, they are not converting those complaint into FIR. Only 1% cases are being converted into FIR. Why? Because there is no human resource. Number one. Number two, there is no capability, no skill set, the kind of expertise required in terms of cyber law, in terms of capability in cyber forensic investigation, in terms of knowing the business process, technology and tools, how the criminals are committing the crime. If somebody, for example, suppose some crime happened with the help of APK file, then 99.99% law enforcement personals or police persons, they don't know what APK is. And if they know a little bit about what is APK, then they don't know how to do the forensic. If some crime has been committed with the help of bot, or some AI enabled tools, then we don't know how they have committed the crime. So the problem is that of forensic, problem is that of and there are different problems as well, because to investigate such a complex crime, we need lots of data from ISPs or TSPs, different service provider, hosting service provider, even payment gateway operators, even the bank sites. So lots of information we need to collect from different service provider, and most of them are located outside India. So there is a jurisdictional problem, there is a legal problem, there is administrative challenge, there is technical challenge. Somewhere there is no retention policy, somewhere there is no provision to share the data in real time, somewhere there is the problem of treaty, and lots of legal complexity. And that's why what is happening, law enforcement agency and police, they are just helpless. They are just helpless. They are investigating only those cases where they can connect with mobile number or IP addresses at the most. If they are trying to decode the money flow, then through some from banking legal they can investigate the case. Otherwise, if I'm talking about the forensic part, they are not into forensic part. Why? Because they don't have the tools. Why? Because they don't have the expertise. Why? Because they don't have the resource, to do the forensic and all that. So if the case is going to the court, what will happen? They were the criminals, because we have not clearly the chain of attribution of the crime to the perpetrators, simply based on the mobile number, simply based on the money flow transaction. And here in India, what is happening, cyber criminals, they are taking KYC of innocent people, those who have Jandhan accounts. uh, they are not well to do, they are just street hawkers and just common people, and their account is being handled by cyber criminals, those who are sitting in China. In most of the cases, when I was investigated the case, I found that the money, 4,400 crore monies, within 5 to 6 months span, went to China through crypto coin. The money was collected here from the innocent victims of India, that went into a nodal account in certain bank. From there to JetPay, being converted from fiat to cryptocurrency exchange, and then from there to Binance International Exchange. And by using mixer technology, they distributed this money to the China. And the Chinese, when I got the complete profile of the Chinese professional at the back end, then I found that their age is between 20 to 25 or 26. And they're hardly 8 or 10 in numbers. And they're collecting 4,400 crore rupees from India, sometimes in name of crypto investment. Sometimes they are operating some instant loan application and threatening the people, and mostly they are into offering part-time job and all that. So millions of messages are regularly being sent on your mobile phone number. If out of those millions, even 5 to 10% become victim, then you can think about the magnitude and the quantum of cybercrime money involved. So, if we look at our mobile phone at a single message, we say it's a simple message in the name of part-time job. But uh, if overall you are looking at the complete picture, then we find that they are sending millions of messages on daily basis. Out of those, even 2%, 3% get victim, then they are collecting lots of money. And they are sitting, the most surprising part is that they are sitting in China. They are handling bulk SMS service facilities sitting outside China, because they have got access to the bulk SMS service provider network, their system, and they are operating your bank account sitting inside the China, because some through APK file, they're getting access to your account. And so this crime is getting more and more complex, and that's why we need those people who are trained into cybercrime investigation. And cybercrime investigation is not easy. You have to understand cyber law, you have to understand forensic, you have to understand hacking, your VAPT tools, cyber security countermeasures. Then you need to be smart in understanding the business process, be it banking or be it SMS, how the SMS service provider operates. For example, if I'm talking about the bulk SMS service provider, they operate through blockchain, blockchain based system. So you have to understand how the bulk SMS service is being operated on blockchain, and how to get the data, and how to identify whether this SMS header is genuine one, this SMS template which has been approved, is it a genuine one? So there are lots of angle involved. It's not a matter of 2 or 3 hours. It's not something that can be taught in a seminar or a webinar for 3 or 4 hours. such rigorous training for 1 year or at least 6 months is required. Rigorous training into forensic domain, then the technology domain, then the hacking, VAPT, everything is related with the investigator. If you are in corporate, then you need the same kind of skill set. If you are in the police or in other law enforcement agencies, same complex skill set is needed to investigate the crime. So and that's why these are the challenges, and the cyber criminals, they are having their field day, because they know the police official, the law enforcement or the officials, they don't have that skill set. They do not, and this is the fact, they do not understand technology tools. They don't have the proper resource, because each and every crime is either interstate or international. Majority of the crime is international in nature, because in most of the cases server is located outside India. So again, there is lot of complexity in terms of legal and administrative challenges that happen, and it comes before the official who are investigating the case. So this is from my
So,
side. Yeah.
okay.
Hello.
Yeah, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for a very insightful and a very, very informative talk and the keynote address. We are grateful that in spite of your busy schedule, you could join us and give your views. Back to Ruth again.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you.
Uh, okay. So now I would like to go ahead with our opening remarks, which will be delivered by Mr. Sharad Kumar. It is my privilege to introduce an extraordinary speaker for today's webinar, Mr. Sharad Kumar, a visionary leader and an expert in financial forensic and risk management. With 42 years of professional experience, he served as a senior partner at Sarath and Associates, a nationally recognized CA firm, a chartered accountant, certified fraud examiner, and certified forensic accounting professional. Mr. Sharad Kumar has made immense contribution as a former civil servant and advisor to various national and international agencies. His expertise lies in financial strategy, forensic investigation, tracing hidden asset, and anti-money laundering effort. Among his achievements, he has received a letter of appreciation from the Secretary General of Interpol and a lifetime dedication to vigilance award. He has addressed global forums, including the Interpol conference, and played an important role in high-profile investigation like Satyam computer scam and Kingfisher airline case. His advice is sought by CBI, SEBI, ED, NIA, and other premier organizations. Currently, he is a president of Hyderabad chapter of Association of Certified Fraud Examiner, continuing to influence and train thousands of officers, chartered accountants, and vigilance professionals across India. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Sharad Kumar for opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Some small technical glitch. Permit me. Am I audible?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
you are.
sir.
Yeah, sorry. Very good morning to you all. First of all, my gratitude to Colonel Nandi for inviting me to be delivering opening remarks. And after a very, very interesting discourse by Professor Triveni Singh, I would like to take shorter time leaving to panelists more. I was deliberating artificial intelligence from a different perspective. Yes, my belief is, how do we view artificial intelligence? As an investigator, my belief is we should be familiar with the power of artificial intelligence in investigation. But my belief goes further to say that we should see how criminals are using the artificial intelligence first. Then only we can learn from the criminal and counter the criminal in a better manner, since I follow a dictum that there is no good forensic auditor or no good investigator without a good and challenging criminal. And after hearing from Triveni Singh, the challenges are paramount, like Mount Everest. and we can't even imagine whether we succeed or not. And every single day, we are learning new things. But one thing I wish to state here to all the participants here and the organizers is artificial intelligence, AI may be a powerful tool, but that doesn't make the human intelligence any less important than it was and it will be also. Because we have to keep on learning from the human perspective about the technical trends and the fraudulent trends. Take, for example, I'm telling you about the public domain. We have done excellent work in in Cybersecurity Bureau of Telangana here. State Bank of India, I'm quoting the case since it is in the public domain. State Bank of India, Hyderabad, one local branch opened with the connivance of the manager who is also arrested along with the criminal. 6 accounts are opened, sir. 6 accounts conducted the cybercrime money to the extent of 175 crores. In how much period can anybody guess, sir? Just make a guess, Kallan. 2 months. 2 months, 6 accounts conducted.
2 months.
Not 6 months, sir. 2 months only. In 2 months. My question is artificial intelligence, if put to proper use by State Bank of India in their monitoring system, they would have detected. Do you know who detected this? Not State Bank of India. We at the Cyber Security Bureau, while investigating a complaint, we found that the money went to 2 accounts in the same branch. Then we zeroed in on 6 accounts, and by the time we could seize, the hardly any 4-5 crore money is available, including the money usurped by the manager, who is also arrested along with the accused. The point I'm trying to tell is the camouflaging and the misuse of technology by fraudsters is much more superior than the investigators due to various regional and national level laws and the constraints. Interpol is coming in a big way in helping us, but that is not sufficient. We, the fraud examiners and the investigators in the private sector, should rise to the occasion. My belief is Professor Triveni Singh knows in empowering you all and asking the law enforcement agencies to work together with the investigators so that we are not begging the LEAs to give us work. Okay, okay, we are asking them to permit us to empower them so that a common man and his money are safeguarded by better investigations. And at the crossroads we are in, continuous learning is essential. And I really compliment Colonel Avijit Nandi for his endeavor in organizing this workshop. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your very insightful, and what you have said are so pertinent in the present world, that the investigations are so complex and the fraudsters are way ahead of us, and we need to cope up with them, the skill, and that is what we have to do. And I am sure that while we start our panel and while the speakers speak, we'll be able to cover these issues and these points, and we are here to discuss this. But I am so grateful for you, for your time and your efforts for joining us. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure, sir.
Okay, going ahead, we have an engaging panel discussion moderated by Colonel Avijit Nandi. He is an army veteran with immense experience in security and investigation. He is certified protection professional, certified fraud examiner, professional certified investigator. Presently, he heads MidCat's investigations and fraud risk management, undertaking investigation assignments of various MNCs. Assignments such as brand protection, counterfeit, procurement frauds, asset misappropriation, due diligence, investigation of operational sites of companies, and covert operations of many types. He was the first senior corporate investigator appointed by Amazon in India. He has handled investigation of wide range of security and ethics violation to include insider threat, incident of potential violence, theft, workplace incident, fraud in APAC and pan India for employees, contractors and vendors. It is my pleasure to invite Colonel Avijit Nandi to moderate the panel discussion. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, my apology because my video is there's some issue. I'll come back. But of course, most important is what we speak and the speakers. But anyway, I feel greatly honored and privileged to conduct this webinar with some of the great expert speakers and a highly knowledgeable audience. And I am very thankful that we have got a sizable number of people attending this debatable and a very interesting webinar, which we are going to host for some time. But a note of caution that we may exceed our time a little bit, but I'm sure if the webinar is interesting, you will stay there to listen on. Now, coming to AI is a buzzword these days. You get to hear them in schools to the corporate offices. AI is definitely a revolution and a powerful tool in the evolving landscape of technology. AI has been definitely a huge savior in some fields, like saving time, improving the work and life balance, improving the efficiency, and faster. But on also, it has wielded for malicious purpose. In our discussion today, you try to figure, is AI a double-edged weapon in fraud? It is something, I remember, and I am sure most of you have written that essay in school where you talked about, is technology a boon or a bane? And it is something which we are talking today. No technology can always be on the positive aspect. Every technology has its negative aspects, and how impactful it can be, and especially where there are financial matters involved, it's very important. As said, AI is an exciting tool and revolutionized many aspects of our life, but has also given fraudsters opportunities to make their frauds more convincing and realistic. Fraudsters are increasingly leveraging AI to enhance efficiency and sophistication in their scams. Anyway, before I start the panel, I would rather prefer to talk or brief a little on the AI, because this is what we will be talking and focusing on today. Like, we will be talking of generative AI, we will be talking about open AI, just to make a subtle difference between the two. Generative AI is a type of AI that can create new content such as text, images, videos, music, and audio. It uses rather machine language models to learn patterns from data and then generate new content based on those patterns, like ChatGPT. Whereas traditional AI systems are rule-based and cannot be learned from data or improve over time. However, generative AI models can produce output that aren't always accurate or appropriate. ChatGPT having problems with counting and algebra, if you are aware. Now, with this background, we start our panel discussions. We have excellent speakers today from across the bandwidth, experienced, highly qualified, as well as people from the budding young people who are taking the classes in the universities, like Mr. Mukund Purohit, the lecturer in NFSU. So we will, without wasting our time, today our first speaker is Mr. Arunavadhar. Now, little bit about Mr. Arunavadhar. Arunava is a Senior Vice President, Corporate Risk, Wells Fargo. Arunava is an accomplished investment banking professional with over 14 years of experience, specializing in regulatory compliance and risk assessment. His commitment to ensuring adherence to financial and non-financial regulatory requirements is matched by his ability to navigate and manage complex regulatory frameworks. His expertise encompasses evaluating business risk controls, conducting through process reviews, and spearheading change initiative across various regulatory reporting frameworks. Arunava has proven a track record in managing system flows and process related to reporting, remediation, exception management, change management, and governance. Arunava will present an aspect or a perspective from a risk control management, though I am aware that many of the or most of the people attending this seminar are from the fraud or the fraud examiners. or the chartered accountants or internal auditors, but we wanted a different perspective from a risk management. Over to you to Arunava.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll quickly pop up a presentation and then we can go through it. Just bear with me one moment, please. Okay, can someone confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so we'll start the presentation by learning a little bit about the basics. In fact, I would say all of us are already aware of what is a fraud and what are some of the common types of frauds, but we'll still start with the basics. I guess it's better that way, right? So, and most of this presentation, just to call out, would be perhaps from a banking perspective, but I'm sure you'll still be able to relate with this, right? So fraud, it's a deliberate act of deception. The intention is to gain unfair advantage, unfair gains, and it is like key call outs. It is intentional. There is an element of misrepresentation, and the ultimate goal is to have or gain something unlawfully, right? Talking about banking frauds, again, it's a fraud which involves unlawful gains from banks or their customers. Some of the most common types of banking frauds, if I have to call out, and most of you would be aware, these are frauds related to payments, frauds related to checks, credit card frauds, which are like very common these days. There is insurance fraud, identity theft by phishing, smishing, and wishing, those type of activities, and there is investment frauds, right? When we talk about frauds, and there's another term what we generally use in the banking domain is financial crime. So fraud is a subset of financial crime. Financial crime is a much larger or a broader set of illegal activities which include frauds. It includes money laundering, insider trading, bribery, embezzlement, tax evasion, all of those included. We call it financial crime. So it's a much larger aspect, right? Moving on, we have the next slide, and technology at times can be slow. Okay, right. So what we have over here is a graphic which kind of shows the global losses because of frauds which has happened in the year 2023, and this is borrowed from a report by Nasdaq. It's Global Financial Crime Report, which was published by Nasdaq. And as you see, there is roughly around $442 billion of worth fraud that has happened across the globe, right? We have it split across Americas, EMEA, and APAC, right? Some of the most common types of fraud that we have seen are also highlighted below. There is, again, to top the list, you have payments fraud, you have got check fraud, credit card fraud, some of which we already discussed, right? So this is how the landscape looks like in the year 2023. I am sure it has increased in 2024. Moving on, we'll talk about some of the AI activities, or some of the AI initiatives that we have in the banking domain to combat fraud, right? Now that we understand frauds and financial crimes, right, AI in banking specifically is used to improve efficiencies, enhance customer experiences, manage risks, and ensure better decision making process in the banking domain, right? Some of the common AI tools or the AI technologies that are used in the banking domain, again, some of you would be familiar with few of these criterias or names, right? There is machine learning, ML we call it, right, which is used to analyze large data sets, identify patterns, make predictions, forecasting, and all of those, right? Typically, ML or machine learning is used for credit scoring, fraud detection, customer segregation, segmentation, those kind of activities. Right. There is NLP, as we call it, natural language processing. Right. This is nothing but if you would have used an Amazon Echo Dot, right? When you say a command, it will play a music, or it will tell you something that you have asked, right? This entire thing works on NLP, right, as we like to call it, right? NLP is used for providing creating chatbots, for providing 24 by 7 customer support. Nowadays you have these banking portals. As soon as you log on to the portal, there is a chatbot which will pop up, and you can simply ask the query, and they'll be able to advise you or help you, like basic guidance and all of that, right? IVR also to an extent works on NLP. That is RPA, robotic process automation, right? RPA is basically used to automate any rule based or repetitive tasks, right? There are tasks such as data entries, transaction processing, or certain type of compliance checks that we do in banking, right? We can automate those using RPAs. There is predictive analytics that we use, again, mostly for prediction and forecasting, looking at the historical data, right, to improve efficiency and for better decision making, right? There is computer vision technology. Nowadays, you would have seen a lot of banks have come up with video KYC, right? So, or there would be a lot of apps where you simply take a picture of your card and it will detect your numbers and details and store it or tokenize it, right? So this is kind of done with the help of computer vision technology. All right. Moving on, we have got chatbots and virtual assistants, right? Again, these are driven by AI. There is NLP involved in it. Again, helps elevate the customer service, answer to certain customer queries, give 24 by 7 services, and assistance to the consumers or the customers who visit the bank for different purposes. There are robo advisors. Again, robo advisors are nothing but automated tools which will help you take certain financial decisions, basic financial decisions, right? You input certain numbers, certain criteria, and these advisors or tools will help you come up or arrive at a certain investment strategy or investment related decision. Right. There are other AI algorithms which are used for fraud detection by analyzing transaction patterns. There is surveillance that happens within the bank, transaction monitoring that happens within the bank, right? There are certain algorithms which are used, automated. Again, AI models help us in doing that, right? There is cyber security. AI again plays a great role in the cyber security, because obviously we know everything is online, everything is digital, right? So we have to monitor the network, we have to detect threats and respond to any security incidents that may be popping up in the bank, right? So AI helps us a great deal in doing that. Lastly, there are AI based personalization engines, right? Now again, it's very similar to robo advisors, right? So these personalization engines ask for certain data, certain criteria, you give it to them, and they'll offer you a personalized investment strategy or a personalized experience for your banking requirements, right? So we have those AI based personalization engines, as we call it. Moving on, right? We have, let's talk about the current landscape in banking, right? So, according to a report by BCG, Boston Consulting Group, there are 30% of Indian companies who have already started using AI, right? And whereas the global percentage, as we compare, is 26%. So India is definitely leading in adopting AI, in different fields of banking and in other domains as well. Right, talking about the future outlook, right? Some of the trends that we see, uh, related to the use of AI, the adoption of AI in banking, right? So we do have, and we spoke about some of this already, right? There is rapid adoption of AI ML technologies for detecting frauds, real-time transaction monitoring, surveillance, right, to identify patterns or anomalies in transactions, right? So there is definitely element of fraud detection and prevention, which is aided with the adoption of AI and machine learning technologies, right? AI is also used for credit risk assessment, right? You go to a bank, apply for a loan. There's a lot of background verification which happens. They do a lot of checks. They try to create your credit history. They take decisions basis on that, right? So the credit risk assessment, to a great extent, is gradually getting automated thanks to AI models, right? Better credit scoring, better decision making, and ease or efficiency in disbursing loans to the customers, right? There are AI tools which help the organizations stay vigilant. We talk about financial crimes, we talk about cybersecurity crimes. Again, we have to have a watertight network to ensure that there is no data leakage, there is data privacy which is maintained. At the end of the day, it's proprietary data. There is highly sensitive information which sits within the network of any bank, right? So AI helps us a great deal with that. At the same time, AI also helps us to meet certain regulatory compliances, because when we talk about data and sensitivity about the data, there are a lot of regulatory expectations as well, that you have to manage the data well. You have to protect the data, right? It should not be lost, right? So AI helps a great deal to meet those expectations as well, right? Again, we spoke about AI automations, streamlining your mundane task, your daily routine activities, anything which is rule based, monotonous. You can do it with the help of AI, right? So while we spoke about all of these examples and these different AI technologies, and definitely in terms of benefits, there is huge benefits out there, right? But at the same time, there are challenges to consider as well. Some of those again have time and again popped up or have been highlighted by different forums, different regulators, or competent authorities for that matter. And these concerns are typically around data privacy. There is cyber security. There is ensuring there is no biasness in the AI algorithms or the decisions that are driven with the help of AIs. So yes, adoption, AI is being implemented, AI is being adopted, but at the same time you have to be cautious. You have to be on your toes to ensure that AI works to the best of your best, to give you the best advantage in your work, right? On the right hand side, we have a small graphic. It kind of a very quick call out, right? There is an estimate. Again, this is by the Boston Consulting Group. They say the generative AI specifically, and Abhijit sir did talk about generative AI, right? We have these new technologies, chat GPTs, and any sort of AI program which learns and from the input data and takes decisions or gives you output basis its learnings, basis anything that it has been trained upon, right? So the adoption of generative AI has a potential to deliver very high value to banks, specifically since we are talking about banks, right? And the estimate is somewhere around 200 billion to 340 billion. The different domains within banking where it will add value are listed below. You have capital markets, asset management, corporate banking, wealth management, so on and so forth. All right, moving on. Let's talk about a new type of AI, or maybe some of you may be already aware of this. So there is something called as explainable AI, right? It's denoted as XAI, right? So what is an explainable AI? It is AI which provides clear, understandable explanation of the decision making process, right? So you go to chat GPT, you type in a command or ask for certain advice. Obviously you'll get the output, you'll get an answer, but you won't know what's going on at the back end, right? How did the AI tool arrive at that answer, or how did they throw that output to you when you ask a certain question? So typically these are called black box AI models, where you don't know, there is lack of transparency. You don't know what's happening at the back end, right? So XAI is the solution to that problem, right? To that lack of transparency, right? So there is a Deloitte's research paper which was published sometime back, and the research paper also quoted that AI capabilities have to be balanced with regulatory requirements and customer demands for fairness. When I say fairness, we are referring to traceability, we are referring to auditability, we are referring to to customers and regulators having the ability to see what's at the back end, right? What's driving the AI decisions or the output which is produced by the AI, right? So XAI, or as I called it, explainable AI, it can definitely help banks navigate that issue of transparency, right? Build trust among customers and provide greater clarity on the algorithms that they generate and they have produced for AI governance, right? uh, XAI, or explainable AI, helps to helps in traceability, explainability, in and understandability, develops that understandability within the human users. without again sacrificing on the performance and the quality or the accuracy of the output, right? uh, what else do we have? Let's say we have got improving regulatory compliance. We already spoke about it, right? In terms of the current landscape or the some of the key banks which are already using, explainable AI, right? We have got JP Morgan, we have got HSBC, BVVA, which is Spanish bank, then ING. I'm sure you would have heard of some of these names, right? These banks are already using explainable AI in in certain tasks such as credit risk assessment, credit scoring. There is surveillance which happens. There are personalized customer solutions. There is personal banking. There are investment recommendations, right? All of these tasks are done with the help of explainable AI. As I said, banks have already made a lot of progress in this area, and then there are other banks and other organizations who are following the suit. They continue to expand and build their capabilities in explainable AI. Moving on, right? If I have to conclude this presentation, right, there are three key callouts. Number one, right, transparency and trust, have to be maintained at all point in time, right? You deploy certain AI, you automate certain tasks, but at the end of the day, make sure whatever you're doing is transparent, it is auditable, and it is trustworthy, right? There has to be a good balance between innovation and responsibility. At the same time, your strategies, while you make in adoption of AI and deployment of certain tools and technologies, right, you have to look at it while anticipating what could be some of the potential challenges in the future, right? At this point in time, banking sector specifically, is rapidly enhancing, rapidly growing their AI capabilities. Again, they have started recognizing that the success of AI implementation is not specific to the technological advancements that are happening within the country and globally as well, but on building systems which help build trust, being transparent, which help the customers, regulators, and stakeholders, give that added element of comfort, understanding, and trust, right? So I'll conclude my presentation over there. That was a short presentation as how AI is shaping the banking domain, right? What are some of the challenges or some of the key AI technologies that banks are using and are in the way of implementing, some other banks for that matter, right? We'll probably go back to Vijit sir for the next presenter. In case if there are questions, we'll probably try to revisit them towards the end of the panel discussion. Thank you, everyone.
Uh,
Shall
Thanks,
we,
Arunava. Thanks,
shall
Arunava,
we do,
for that.
Colonel? Shall we go for questions in the end to all the panelists? Yeah, that's a
Sir,
better.
uh, we will go for the questions so that while they are speaking, it can be related.
Yeah, yeah.
We will manage the time. That's not an issue. We will be able to do
Okay,
that.
okay, okay.
Or we'll see how it. But thanks, Arunava, for the wonderful insight on AI. Now, AI, we have talked about generative and, of course, the open AI. AI are actually types based on capabilities and functionalities, and something which you newly talked about XAI. So you have also talked about very important 2 3 points: transparency, bias, and the accountability. We will discuss this, and but cutting it short, what I would like to know is that even the some of the philosophers and the researchers are having this argument that is AI, artificial intelligence, so reliable, so transparent, so dependable? In that case, how do you think AI can be used ethically?
Right. I
How do
guess
you
that's a great question. Thank you for raising that question or calling that out. I think, and I'll start by saying that the future, of in the next 10, 20 years, is definitely gonna be intertwined with AI. Right? You cannot escape the AI revolution. At the same time, you need not worry that, and there again, I'll probably digress a little, but at the same time, you need not worry that AI is gonna take away all your jobs, right? While AI is getting scaled up, while there is a lot of rapid adoption of AI in banking, rest assured, our role is not gonna end, right? We will probably the skill sets may have to change, or we may have to upskill or learn new terms, new skills, right? But at the same time, I think all of us on this call can definitely appreciate the use and the growth of AI, and be relaxed that it's not going to take away your jobs. Talking about how we can use AI ethically in banking, right? I guess while we have spoken at spoken about AI so much, right? It is definitely, and probably some of my points could be repetitive, but I'm sure if I have to talk about ethical use of AI in banking operations and banking decision making, right? It is crucial that AI that has been implemented or deployed is fair. There is fairness, there is transparency, there is accountability, right? The regulatory focus, there is client focus, everyone focuses on data privacy, there is focus on consent, right? So banks must ensure that customer data is handled with strict privacy measures. There is consent which is obtained from customers, and how the data is going to be
Okay.
used should be clearly disclosed in contractual agreements. Again,
Yeah. Fair enough. Very fair enough. And what you excellent. And of course, as we speak, as we other speakers, panelists come in, these things, this particular point will come over and over again. And I would have loved to go to Kanwaljit, but I would definitely go back to her when she is speaking. I will come back to her with the same question while she is giving her talk. But now to move around, we will have our next speaker, who is Mr. Surat Mukherjee. Mr. Surat Mukherjee is a CA, a CMA, CISA, CFE, and a CRICP. Currently heading the management assurance in Times Group. Before that, he has worked as internal audit and investigation head at ACC, Dalmia Group, Sony, Philips, Holcim, and ex-PwC. He has worn many caps and an extremely experienced and knowledgeable person. Over the past years, he has held leadership positions in various MNCs and Indian organizations and have been able to contribute sustainable results for them in the field of accounting and finance, risk assurance, and control of risks. He's a regular contributor and speaker in various industry forums like ICI, IIA, ICMA, ASSOCHAM, etc., and believe in interactive learning through knowledge sharing. Thank you so much, Surat, for joining us, accepting our invitation, and welcome, and over to you.
Yeah, so I think there are many speakers who are technically competent than me in the AI subject. But when somebody wants me to talk about AI, I always go back to the man or the brain behind AI. So what is AI? AI is a tool. It's like fire. We need fire. Tomorrow, if there is no fire, there is no life, right? But that same fire, if it is used in a manner which can create life, or which can sustain life, or which can be an ever destructing force. So what is extremely important is that what is the brain behind the AI, and what it is trying to utilize, what vulnerability of mankind it is trying to exploit. And when we look deeper, we find that it is the fear and greed of human being which is being effectively used by the fraudster. So once they used to come to your doorstep with a gun or with a stick and scare you, or get hold of you in a isolated, desolate place to rip you of your belongings. And at that point of time, they had hardly any information about how much asset you have in which geography, which branches. I have grown up in those 70s and 80s where Even a bank would not know if you have two FDs in two different branches. The same branches, maybe 100 meters away, you used to have that, bank branches every nook and corner. 500 meters, you turn left, you have a PNB. You turn right, you have a PNB. But they don't have any access to information or data. They themselves don't know, forget about. And taxation rules and everything was very, very nascent at that point of time. Now with advent of technology, like today, if I want to see all my investment, I can open up an app and I can see. There are invitations coming every single day, which asks us to consolidate our information. Government has created things like PAN, Aadhaar, and then linking it with multiple data sets. And we have created one kind of a dashboard for us, which makes us feel happy that we are not supposed to do a lot of paperwork. But with that, what happens is that the fraudster also is having a field day. So he is able to understand and exploit that information and also the vulnerability which I have in managing those things. So when I read in the newspaper that an ex-CBI or an ex-police officer or an ex-army officer has been put on digital arrest for 3 days and has been extorted 8 crores or 10 crore, the two question which hits me is that, are we so vulnerable that being even in that same line, talking to the same kind of people, what is our fear? Have we done anything wrong through which somebody can extort money? So that fear in my mind, say, for example, if I just assume that I have not paid my taxes, I have done some transaction which I have not honestly reported, or I have made some streams of income which is undisclosed. So is it that vulnerability which is used by the fraudster? Or else, what is it? What is it that they are trying to do? Disha Patni's father, I read in the morning yesterday, was scammed for 25 lakhs while he was offered a job in a government, UP government authority. Now the question is, do we pay to get a job? Or what kind of job it is which will, instead of remunerating us, ask us to pay to get that job? Then are we then going to join in that job and do something which is going to give me back X times this investment which I have made to get the job? So the answer is very simple. And I keep telling people that look into your vulnerabilities, look into what you are trying to protect and what you are trying to defend. Why on earth, if ED calls me today and says there is a courier which has come in your name and there are some banned cannabis or drugs in it, and if you don't take the delivery or you don't give hush money, I am going to put you in jail. I would say, okay, take me to jail, right? So the option which the fraudster is using, and there they are using AI very intelligently. They are looking at your profile. So if they know Abhijit Nandi, they exactly know what Abhijit Nandi likes, what he has done in the past, what he does, what he doesn't. And then they track all of that with that artificial intelligence, mob all the information and find out that Abhijit is very, very fond of doing foreign travel. And if I can give him an option to buy cheap tickets or get you into a hotel without a reservation, but landing there and getting a room dirt cheap, or he likes concerts. So you saw that Coldplay or Diljit Dosanjh's tickets sold were fraud. So people, after standing in a queue for 3 hours, landed and found out the ticket was false, and somebody has paid 50,000, somebody has paid 5 lakh. And the power of compounding and multiplication is huge. If I can scam, imagine I scam the entire Indian population for 1 rupees. In a minute, I can make out 140 crore rupees, right? 1 rupee. Nobody will complain, nobody will go to police. So if I take 1 rupee from Kanwaljit, 1 rupee from Arunaba, 1 rupee from you, nobody is going to go back, right? But this is the kind of money which we can get. So India is a large population, a very vulnerable one, which has got a lot of aspirations on one side, lot of greed, and to get something very fast, very quickly on the other side. So what's the fraudster is doing? They are using very classical fraud models and they are topping it up with AI, which is expanding their reach to a great extent. So they are faster, they are more accurate, their target audience is more focused, and people are ready to fall for it. So the moment you say, I'll give you 30% return in a month, people don't look left, right, and center. They don't ask a question if that was possible. Why is the person coming to me? If I know how to make 30% a month, why would I go to Arunabha or Kanwaljit and say, look, I will make this much for you? I will make it for myself and I'll become Bill Gates in a few years' time, right? So why is he coming to me, right? He's coming because he wants to play with my greed. He wants to play with my desire. And artificial intelligence is helping them to create a platform, create an environment, create a false video object, a wonderful background of a police station or a space station, whatever you want, and then also create the right kind of tonal quality, the voice, the data, the documents. You are served with a digital warrant. You are asked to acknowledge and fill up a form, and so on and so forth. So it is made to look so real that we even seasoned professionals will fall for it, right? So what is extremely important is we need to ask ourselves, what is the greed we have? What is the vulnerability we have? And what is the hurry in life? What is the hurry in life that a link comes? Every day I get emails asking me that your Google account is going to be deleted, your Hotmail account is going to be, disbanded. See, nothing in the world happens like this. Whatever, even if my property is going to be croaked by the government, there has to be a process for it. And in India, we all know nothing works for decades. So even if I am convicted today, for that conviction to happen will take decades. We know it. In our casual discussion, we'll talk around it. But when somebody pops up in front of me with a grave face or a background where ED or CBI is written, suddenly I feel that I'll have to do something in 1 hour, without which I'll be doomed. Right? So that inner fear or that inner vulnerability is what is being used as a vehicle. That is the most important thing, in my opinion.
Excellent. I think what Surat has brought out is very, very pertinent in this present scenario. That is, he talks about vulnerability. And I'm sure the speakers ahead will talk about why are we vulnerable. And that is what we talk about when we say, is AI a double-edged weapon? It is. It is a double-edged weapon where fraudsters are leveraging AI to make the frauds more convincing, more realistic. Like the way he said, AI can be used like in asymmetric data intelligence. AI can monitor your social media to find out which person I need to target. When you are getting targeted, there has to be a background. You have to understand. When we expose ourselves so much on the social media, the Facebook, the foreign travels, the pictures we post, these are the ingredients a scammer looks for. And that is where they use their AI to get this intelligence. And what Surat is brought out repeatedly, and which I feel, and we will come back to this point and we'll discuss this, that why are we vulnerable? Is it that our population are not very educated all across, or it is, but what I feel, we'll discuss, we do not know AI. None. A study which was conducted across the world, it said, as on date, only 12% of the professionals are using AI. Only 12%. So we all talk about AI, but very people actually know what is AI. But maybe I am sure by end of this day, people will go back and get a little bit glimpse of what is AI. And we will come back to the question as we will listen to Sharath sir's advice and we will take it. But now we'll go to a different perspective. We have our next speaker as Mr. Bhagirath. Bhagirath is again a very young talent, a young man, and I have known him for long. Bhagirath is a dynamic and a very result-oriented government and ethics professional with 17 plus years of experience in ethics, forensic investigation, governance, risk, compliance, domain across industries. like telecom, oil, gas, power, pharma, steel, and alloy, aviation, etc. And multiple geographics, including Kazakhstan, Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, and India. He is an executive MBA in finance and associate CFA Australia and a CMA. He holds multiple professional certifications like CFE, CFI, CISA, CICP, CSOP, and SIRM. He successfully coordinated projects under management and leadership roles concerning fraud operations, corporate investigations, ethics and compliance, advisory, SOX, compliance, auditing, testing, and internal assurance of the audit. Vagiradh is presently serving with Sadlos, and a warm welcome to him. And thank you so much for
With
joining
the
us.
permission of Kalnal,
Yes,
one
sir.
thing you, me, and Bhagirath share, or he's
Sir,
passionate about sharing the knowledge.
absolutely. And that's why he's here.
Passionate is the word I'm using. He really takes interest in training and sharing with colleagues. Thank you. Sorry for interruption.
Not at all, sir. Go on, Bhagirath.
Thank you, Avijit sir. Thank you, Sarat sir, for the kind words. It encourages me to do more. So, yes, sir. So, I thought of having this as a normal conversation because we are actually, to be honest, we're tired with all the presentations and everything day in, day out, right? So the most important points that I want to cover here today, and it's a very challenging aspect after Arnava has given a good presentation covering all the aspects of AI utilization in terms of tools and everything. So my prime focus will be, and it's a very big challenge for me, Arnava, thanks for that, is to cover something which you have not covered yet. So basically, when you're there were some certain questions within the forum because as I was listening to the speakers, I was also going through the questions that were coming in the forum. And one of those important questions and raised by one gentleman is that everyone is talking about the importance of AI and the tools and how we can imbibe AI into the system and everything. But I understood that question has to be where to start as an investigator, how you can actually use them as an investigator in those things. So the very simple answer is start by using simple things like in your OSINT, like in your open search intelligence, when you're doing some investigative work, you want to find some people within the web public searches or websites. Going forward, next time onwards, instead of directly going to the Google Chrome or Mozilla or Edge, go to the Chat GPT. Try to understand the background of the person. Maybe there could be some public information that is available. Or if you're trying to identify a certain nexus between two organizations, probably you will be able to get it. Because now previously the chat GPT was not having the public search function imbibed into it, but very recently we just heard the news within a week before that now they have the public search option imbibed within the results. So you can actually, the chat GPT can actually search the internet. The second point is the data analytics and predictive analytics and trends and pattern analysis. So here, I would like to take an example of a recent case that I did. Uh, we had a multi-million dollar, actually $1 billion scholarship organization that was giving out scholarships to the young people. It's based out of United States. And the main objective is that you have certain categories of people and you have to submit an application. And based on the application and based on the qualification of the certain category of people, you get selected and then scholarship would be given to you, right? So the main problem we faced here was that sheer amount of volume of transactions that for a 6 month period, there were 1 million transactions. Now, as an auditor or as an investigator, where would you start? You have to do a risk-based analysis and just streamline and based on the attributes, you have to get it down to certain things. So we used some AI softwares and also some data analysis and simple spreadsheets to do to find the scripts to do the analysis and identify the attributes. But what happened? The limitation of AI I'm talking because the AI has given us this small amount of 2 to 3% of transactions that we can concentrate on. But the limitation, I tell you, there was one particular case where a particular scholarship student was procuring lot of items from Amazon. Now we told AI, identify suspicious transactions, and purchasing from Amazon is not something which is prohibited as per the policy. So the AI thought that, okay, fine, it's purchasing from AI, from Amazon, so it's fine. But when we went into those transactions, Many students purchase from Amazon. It's not prohibited. But when we went into this transaction, there were items like a gold clarinet, a silver oboe, like very costly items. So this is where the human element comes from. So the systems and softwares can only give you to some extent. This is what can be done. But the human element has to work there, and we have to use our common sense. Okay, why would a student, especially a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old, gold-plated clarinet? Is there a use for it, or is it a fraud or an abuse? Again, the differentiation has to be made whether it is a fraud case or an abuse case or what it is. It depends upon your empirical knowledge, right? Out of doing a lot of cases, then you understand whether it's a fraud or an abuse. Because that was one area that I wanted to highlight. So this goes to your point, sir, and you're talking about discussion whether it is a double-edged weapon. Yeah, it is definitely a double-edged weapon. You can definitely use it as a tool, but you cannot completely depend on it. There is one more point I would like to add here. There is a concept called ECF, Efficient Compute Frontier. So these AI systems are riddled with ECF. You do a lot of effort, you put in a lot of coding, you do number of iterations of development on the AI systems. There is still an imaginary boundary line beyond which the AI systems or generative AI systems cannot be efficient of. It is because of numerous reasons. There is bias, there is data quality, then the case itself is such that it cannot be solved, right? So these are the areas that you need to consider. So the ECF is a very important aspect. So, but human doesn't have an ECF. Human beings, as we our imagination is too good. I just wanted to give a small example of that. When I was 13 years old, when I read the newspaper, they talked about the observable universe and they said it's 63 billion years long. But today in this text, it is written 92 billion years long. So it only took 10 years for us to expand up to like 20 billion light years of data that you can see right today. So that's the wide and depth of human brain that you can go with. So yeah, so data analysis is one area, and I would like to give some small tools that probably you can take note of that we day in day out use. For text and sentiment analysis and for document analysis, if there is any deep fake within the document, specifically in banks and financial institutions, you find that. So for that, you can use a tool called Resistant AI. So it is a tool wherein it can identify if a document is doctored or it's an original document, at least to the 90% of the accuracy, and we found good use of it. And for some searching related to pattern recognition and anomaly detection, there are a number of tools. But one I profoundly use and like is Quantifind. Quantifind has this ability to analyze large data sets. It doesn't have any limitation. It can identify unusual patterns and indicative of financial crimes and fraud. Finally, then there is text and sentiment analysis. What is sentiment analysis? Sentiment analysis is basically by observing the natural language flow of a particular data, you can able to understand what is the behavior that is coming out of that particular speech pattern, or what is the kind of thinking that is happening there. This is hugely helpful in banks and as well as fintechs and as well as some of the organizations where human interaction is the key in terms of originating a particular transaction, specifically in telecom as well. When you do take the KYC, or in aviation, when you're speaking to a pilot, doing an incident analysis and everything. So this particular, there is a tool called Monkey Learn. It is right. It was started as an open platform, but now it is payable. So Monkey Learn is a good text and sentiment analysis tool. So those that was the thing that I wanted to answer for your question, sir. I hope I answered to your question.
Yeah, Bhagirath, again, a great insight. And of course, talking about AI, and of course, now you have talked about, we are gaga with AI. We are talking AI everywhere. Like as I said in the beginning, in our school, children talks about AI. The corporate talks about AI. Everybody talks about, professionals talks about AI. But are we really aware of what is AI? What can it do and what it cannot do? And of course, what are the disadvantages? We will talk about that later. That you talked, like Arunava had talked about bias, you have talked about the limitations, and Surat had also talked about how the fraudsters are leveraging the AI. Now, and you have talked about various tools, but before I forget, of course, I will come to this. before I forget, can you talk about any particular tools which we are going to use for this? Or is there which is anything which is available in the market or something?
Yes, sir. As I was saying, there are different tools. It depends upon the domain that we want to talk about. For pattern recognition and quantified, I gave for the quantification, but quantified is generic. But let's say you're talking about T&E, travel and expense reimbursement fraud. You have tools like Absen and you have tools like Oversight, which can do the post payment as well as prepayment analytics, and you can find frauds there. For TPRM side, like third party risk management side, where you want to identify frauds in relation to your suppliers or non-compliances in relation to your suppliers, you have platforms like Process Unity, OneTrust, and recently there was very good talk about some of the companies are actually developing their internal softwares as well. We in our company also trying to do that right now. So, and when it comes to the regular email checks and everything, previously we used to have these softwares like and LexisNexis and all. But what we used to do for platforms and platform searches and all, we used to have softwares like Wound, and that is Intella. That was a software that we used to use for email reviews and everything. But now they have combined with Xtero and added AI into their particular tool. So yeah, definitely there are a lot of tools. If we go with the flow, you can actually, it will take a long list, like 2 to 3 pages of tools for every aspect of it.
So, yeah, so what you're bringing out, what we are speaking, that definitely there are tools which are available in the market. And another point which Sharad sir had brought in, that whatever comes, nobody can beat the HI, the human intelligence.
Yes.
And I had posted a questionnaire in LinkedIn a long time back. Do you think that with the advent of AI, will the investigator's role be reduced, minimized, or it will go off? And I had got an overwhelming 69% says partially. What AI is doing for us is only giving us a pattern, a data, right? The analysis is not done by them. And also the input which we are giving to the AI, the outcome is based on that. And we have also seen the input to the AI is always not correct, and even the outcome is not correct. So we cannot totally depend on AI as we think so. And that is why even in the risk and fraud management, I have seen the report, it says 79% still feel that it is too early to get into AI. And in later part of the day, we will talk about what are the challenges for the investigations in using AI. So now moving on to the next speaker,
Colonel,
sir,
permit me to
sir.
supplement you in 30 seconds. My experience of using AI is wherever we are using, I am advising my colleagues to independently verify the veracity from two perspectives. One, final authenticity and sustainability, and privacy violation concerns also. These two, human intelligence is essential to supplement. It should be tool useful to you. You should not go blindly by AI and submit your report thinking because it's a good language and good
Exactly.
presentation. Sorry.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, sir. Thanks for your point. So now we come to our only lady speaker, Kanwaljit Kaur Soni. And thank you so much, ma'am, for giving your time and joining us. And we were waiting to hear from you. Now, a short introduction about her. She is a qualified FCA, certified fraud examiner, certified investigator, committee member of PhD Chamber of Commerce, advisory MSME India Forum, member of Center of Audit Quality, ICI authorized faculty, GCI, community director, ACF FCS India chapter, cyber investigator and trainer, president Global Association of Forensic Accountants, GAFA. I don't know how many more she wants to get some more certifications. Excellent. Her expertise spans financial fraud investigations, AML, cybersecurity, forensic audits, and specialized. Of course, her mainstay as on date is on mentorship, and on teaching the budding new professionals who want to get into this particular domain of fraud. Thank you so much, ma'am. Once again, over to you.
Thank you, Abhijit sir. And thank you, Mitket, for having me here. So now I've been listening to all my fellow panelists, and there are a lot we are talking about artificial intelligence. But my take on AI is slightly different, So I'm not just a trainer, but I'm a consultant who's been doing consulting in the investigation domain for banks, for corporates, sometimes for law enforcement as well. So I personally think AI as a small kid, something which is learning from us. And I generally compare this AI with a small toddler. How a toddler learns to speak. We as an adult parent, we speak. The kid learns. They see our behavior. They see how we talk, the language we use, the words we use. How do we teach a kid that this is a red apple? If you Google and see how AI was trained, there were different kind of patterns which are available with a simple Google search. A red apple. Now technology associate, if apple, it is red. But yes, apple can be green as well. This is how our human brain works. And this is exactly how technology is working. And that is where the name originates, artificial intelligence. So the first thing which I also say the same, which my fellow panelists said, we as a human are always superior. If you are a parent, you have taught the kid. Remember that. So for us, AI is that kid, still learning from us. However, there is always a possibility that the kid learns from us and then use his own brain to analyze things in a different way. Now that's where we see that technology is going out of hand. That's where a word comes into picture called AI governance. We are talking about governance and corporate governance everywhere, but unfortunately, not many people are thinking about AI governance. Have you ever thought when the technology will start using its own brain and interpreting things in its own manner, how will we as a human be able to control it? That's where it's very, very important that we talk about ethical side of AI. AI is very, very important. We've been talking about it since morning. And of course, we are using AI day in, day out, starting from our day-to-day life, booking cabs, searching something on Google, healthcare, defense, banking, everywhere we are using AI. But at the same time, the kid doesn't know what is right, what is not right. We, as a parent, teach kid stealing is bad. And what if I teach the kid it's fine to steal? ChatGPT is being used for all good purpose, but a lot of people are making malicious codes on ChatGPT. The phishing mails have been created on ChatGPT because AI doesn't know what is right, what is not right. Probably sometime AI or say ChatGPT may say, this is something where I will not support. So I know how to bypass. For example, hey, I'm just making this phishing mail to teach student how not to rely on this. Now the innocent ChatGPT doesn't know. I can always manipulate. I say, hey, I'm just using it for training purpose. I'm not going to do anything wrong out of it. How will we control that? So that's where there are certain things which we have to definitely keep in mind. The ethical side of AI or AI governance per se. The first, proportionality. We should know up to what extent should we use AI. What is the line where we say, okay, this is your task, please get limited to that thing only. Beyond that, you don't need to go. So proportionality. Ultimately, it's a system. It's like an assistant for us. It helps us getting things faster, better, but let it not overpower us. So that is the first and most important thing, that we should know up to what extent do we have to use this artificial intelligence. Second, the data privacy. AI is not a new concept. It's been there with us for a very, very long time. Now, why we are listening about AI too much these days? Because we have readily available data, which was not there before. I mean, it was there, but not that much the way we have today. Since data is available, the application of AI is much more successful today. But at the same time, the concern comes into picture is data privacy. So how are we going to control that data privacy thing? And third, which is most important, is human right. There are a lot of stuff where globally there are examples that technology has tried to intrude in those areas where they should not. So how will we protect the human rights? That's equally important aspect for us to look at. And as Arunav mentioned, the explainability part of AI. So there is a concept called TNE, transparency and explainability. So each time we deploy AI models, we have to definitely think about TNE. But at the same time, when you talk about TNE, it might conflict with other principles, say data privacy and other aspect of it. So each time we talk about AI, deploying AI in any way, whether it's investigation, whether it's a day-to-day exercise of banking or insurance or similar, we have to definitely think about the ethical side of data as well. So that's my take on artificial intelligence, that about 6 centuries back, we had invention of printing press. Post that, I think AI is the next best thing we see in the market. But at the same time, it doesn't come all with just benefits. And we have to definitely think from that perspective where it should not cross the boundaries. The biasness are increasing with AI. It doesn't know how not to bias. You have to train the technology to curb that biasness. We already have a lot of differences in the society. We don't want technology to add it more. So that's my take on the governance side or ethical side of AI.
Awesome. Excellent. And that's a wonderful perspective. And you have come out with something like, and the analogy which you drawn with a child and AI, that was superb. So what you are talking about is that AI is coming and we should not be in such a state that it is out of our control. We are not able to control it. And since AI does not have its own intelligence, it doesn't realize or it doesn't differentiate what is right or wrong. Absolutely right. And that is why the questions of ethical, transparency, bias, all these things comes in. And finally, the human intelligence. And that is what we are talking about. And also, you have also used the term of TNE and the proportionality, data privacy, human rights. It is happening. That is all across. The governments have realized the power of AI and its unethical use. The European Council has come up with a mandate. The US has come, and it's not very far. India will also come up. Like there was a question in the chat box, which we will discuss later, that how do we see that it is being used in the right method? Like if an investigator does an investigation based on AI, which Sharad sir was talking, and we go to the court and the judgment is given based on that AI evidence, it can be disastrous. It can be disastrous. It can be later used for political purposes. It can be used by the criminals. So it is always a big concern. And this is today, as on date, the biggest concern of AI. That is the human rights violation, privacy, proportionality, bias. And I think all of them has touched on this point, either this way or that way. And that has been excellent. So thank you so much, ma'am. And we will come back to the questions. They are all in my mind. I have noted it down. And before our other speakers get impatient, I will switch on and have the other speakers to speak on. Now I move on to my next speaker is Mr. S. Rajaraman. Of course, Mr. S. Rajaraman is from IBM. And thank you, Mr. Raja, to come and join us and give your views. So after a heavy dose of AI, Mr. Rajaraman will shift a little and give a little bit of a breathing space before you again get into AI about fraud prevention and detection. A short brief, Mr. Rajaraman is a commerce graduate from University of Madras and a certified fraud examiner with close to 30 years working experience. Superb. He's the country manager, corporate security at IBM India Private Limited for the India South Asia market. He started his career in credit card fraud investigation and worked with organizations like Indian Railways, IRCTC, ICICI Bank, and Bosch Limited. He has a rich experience in banking fraud investigations across products like credit cards, liabilities, retail loans, SME products, and mortgages. He has been an experienced investigator in occupational frauds, cybersecurity incidents. He is an expert trainer in fraud investigations, ethics, again the word ethics, and integrity and security topics, and has conducted investigation workshops across India, Asia, Pacific, Europe as a part of his job responsibilities. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Raja. We are waiting to hear from you. Over to you.
Thank you so much for that nice introduction. Very happy to be the part of this. I'm also looking at the clock. It is 11:40. Kindly intervene and say when I got to stop. The topic is so close to heart that we may bypass looking at the clock, and I don't want to cause any inconvenience to the listeners. So far they have been good, kind, and patient. So let us continue with that same state of mind. Very good morning. Very much overwhelmed with a lot of information from different subject matter experts across different topics. So may take some time to settle down, assimilate, and how to use them to our convenience. So what I am trying to understand, or what I'm trying to see here for a thought is, today we are considering using this technology as a tool, as an ammunition to fight a different, war front. Like how the war fronts, traditional war fronts have switched turf, and today we are at, a turf called an information or a data or a cyberspace where different war is being launched. And we are on the other side of the front, and we all share a common platform and a common cause. However, to understand the current needs, I believe, my personal belief, we may have to understand the road that have been covered so far, learn and internalize the genesis of certain types of modus operandis, fraud modus operandis over the years. Always the purpose is to gain unlawfully or easy access to material or resources. That material over a period of time has changed from money till now it has come to information. You want money or 1 GB data, somebody says, you give me 1 GB data, with that I can make double amount of that money. That is the point where we are standing, and that is the turf where we are playing today. So where did we start? How did we traverse? How did we see the road that has led to today? That is going to help us understand, predict the movement for future. I always personally believe in being fit for future. I also, with the due respect, sir, Mr. Sharath mentioned that, we learn from fraudster. I've always been an investigator throughout most part of my career, where it has been a post facto, understand the modus operandi, understand the trail of the fraudster, study hypothesis, and, go and crack certain cases. However, it is also equally important that we try to ascertain what is going to be ahead of us, and there may be a method attached to that, which I probably wanted to stress upon. We have observed, and what we observed and what we realized is, there have been different modus operandi, and during different periods of time, study a detailed in-depth study and understand about profiles of both the targets and victims and also the perpetrators, and also what has been targeted for. Did I target for money? Did I target for password? Did I target for any other information? Is going to help us to plot it and understand where it is going to take us in the next near and the subsequent future. We observe that there has been a very important key shift, towards the use of technology. This technology has been used by people right from the daily needs. It is ranging from how do I do to, do something to earn a day's living, till funding movements or funding organizations which have plots against, nations. The range is so broad and so wide. For all these needs, technology has always helped to support these needs. So this technology also can be used to counter these purposes, and that is where we all have to wear the thinking hats to see how do we be prepared for today's risk and how do we be fit for the future also. Next is about when we learn and we understand, when we realize how do we internalize these learnings, we plot the modus operandi, the targets, the profile of the victims with time. As we see the plot moves, we see what are the dynamics that have changed in this space, and that is going to be a very important realization or a very important fact actualization for us. Uh, this is going to help us a strong defense. And when we speak about the difference between the organizations and individuals have been different. I'll give you two instances. Earlier, see, fortunately, I have been associated seeing the genesis of the credit card fraud. Earlier, we have seen um, a credit card with the imprinted card number, where the transaction at the merchant space is done using an imprinter. The card is placed on the imprinter is swiped, the charge slip is couriered to the bank, and then the payment is released. The merchant is trained on what is the floor limit and don't do split transactions on the floor limit. Refer the bulletin for blacklisted and talk to the customer call center and enter into code 1 or code 0 to identify from that space. After that, we came into EDCs, and in EDCs, we understood what could be the different frauds. We entered into internet-based credit card transactions, then how to use CVV2 for the securing the transactions, and from CVV2, how did we get into the Euromaster EMV cards. Then OTP authentication, one-factor authentication, two-factor authentication. The banks knows you, you know the bank. What is the dynamic factor? We may also get into what is 3FA. So once when we understand the journey, it is going to help us to see where we are headed towards next and how we secure that tomorrow for the betterment. From that perspective, we always seen the organizations, whether it is banking organization, whether it is commercial organizations, they've always had the luxury of coping up with the technology, whether it is the data security through enabled servers and cloud, whether it is the network security, whether it is the firewall security. But when we are talking about the individuals, they also are a big space. I will take a moment to say I will also represent the common man, which we all are, and see how we are protected from these targets and these frauds. Are we equipped to that extent to say tomorrow I will not be defrauded? I guess the answer is no. We are not prepared. Let us also, as a part of this society, contribute towards creating this awareness, spreading the message, because we never know. Thought leaders who spoke before spoke about being vulnerable. Being vulnerable is not a weakness. It's not an impediment. We tend to become. I know the speaker before told about why we are vulnerable. Why will we get arrested? 100%, sir. That awareness is the key. But unfortunately, many people, get desperate. I need a job. What if I inadvertently get arrested? Do I have to undergo the nuisance of going through certain processes? Do I have to, undergo the negative publicity or the negative, these are all the compelling factors which have been targeted, which have been, we put ourselves under, the radar and get exposed to. Also, last one or 2 points we have seen. Let me take an example of the Nigerian 419 scam. Earlier, I had an opportunity similar to what Dr. Triveni Singh told. I personally met one of the retired Inspector Generals of Police who lost close to 50 lakhs. I'm talking about 2007, 2008. Even still, 50 lakh is a big money. He lost to a Nigerian 419 simple lottery scam, and he was not from Tamil Nadu cadre. He was from West Bengal or Bihar cadre, a retired senior officer. And he told about the lottery and how different installments of money was paid. And when I asked a simple question, he was a little speechless. I asked, sir, where did you buy the lottery ticket? And he said, no. I said, what is the cost of that lottery ticket? There was no lottery ticket at all. And how did you believe that you won a lottery without buying a lottery ticket? So then that is how the people are influenced. And during another extended investigation, we saw the shift. There was a group, the 419 group that was in some places in Rajasthan. They moved away from Gurgaon, they moved towards Rajasthan, and slowly they got connected and they got concentrated in a place called Mira Road. It is near Dahisar. There we find a gang operating. Later we saw the gang physically shifting into Ghaziabad. I have myself been instrumental in tracking one of such cases, interacted with SSP Ghaziabad. We zeroed in on their presence, however, we were unable. And in merchandising frauds, we have seen these people working out of Tirupur in Tamil Nadu. We were also, in one instance, circumvented their presence in a hotel. So now that physical movement is curtailed, there is no physical movement. There is no point in the map where we can see this modus operandi is perpetrated from this point or this GPS coordinate. No, they are everywhere. What they need is only a mobile phone or a laptop and a sturdy internet connection. And that is all. The battlefield is set. So this awareness is only going to help us in, becoming more prepared. So I spoke about the shift, from the organization. That is why I remember telling that the organizations have equipped with the very strong controls, but the individuals are not. Today we are seeing the focus shifting more from the organization. Taking ransomware from an organization is not so difficult. However, it is going to be easy when you take control of individual's mobile or individual's laptop, because he's got a lot of information which others doesn't want to know. So that is going to be the key which the fraudsters are targeting. The denomination can be from rupee 1 to infinity. It can be anything. We know what is salami attack. We have also, in one of the case studies, we were able to see, just by an open discussion like that, I told about what if the FASTag has removed that fraud scheme to a larger extent. However, when a toll gate is not giving you back of change, instead of 5 rupees, they give you 4 rupees. And what is the quantum of the money made unlawfully? It is not unlawful. I'm not going to lodge a police complaint because he did not have 1 rupee change to give it back. Otherwise, he is going to ask me 5 rupees and he is going to give me 10 bucks back. So what is the quantum? And if that is continuing for 10 years and 15 years across some 700 booths, and what is the quantum of the money that is made? So that is the target. More than organizations, individuals are getting target daily, day to day. We are reading newspapers. We are watching TV news. Let us be aware, let us spread awareness, let us spread the light to the people, and let us count each and every small or big opportunity. And that is also one big reason I immediately, accepted to be a part of this wonderful discussion. Thanks a lot to Mr. Avijit Nandi, your organization Mitmax, Kunal Solanki, who was sending emailers, reminders, and giving us all the comfort. I don't want to search around. The background was given, the stage was set. We just have to come and speak. Thanks for this wonderful arrangement, and I also stand benefited by the wisdom shared by the previous speakers. And that's it, sir. Back to you, Avijit, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raja. The various examples which you have brought in talks volumes of your experience. And I think the more we do all this on ground, instead of sitting on our laptops, and we learn more and more. And the cases are of variety you cannot think of, because investigation is such a field where same things are not repeated. Every case is unique. And you have stressed and reiterated on the same point of vulnerability. And you have resonated what Surat had said. And we will come to this point. Hopefully, we'll have some time for some questions. And I would request all the audiences to hold on for another 5 to 10 minutes after our last speaker is done, so that we can take some interesting questions. Thank you so much, Mr. Raja, for your wonderful perspective. Thank you so much. Now we have our, I think, one of the youngest speaker, a brilliant young mind. He is working as a lecturer, Mr. Mukund Purohit, at the School of Management Studies, National Forensic Sciences University, specializing in forensic accounting and fraud investigation with over 4 years of experience, a learning individual. Currently pursuing a PhD in forensic accounting, and his research focuses on the prevention and detection of fraud using data analytics, what we have been talking, very important. He also holds an executive certification from IIM Rohtak in data analytics. In addition, his academic pursuits, he has published several research papers and contributed a chapter in the field. As an active member of the consulting and training team, he has also been involved in multiple investigation cases and trained various categories of law enforcement agencies. He's also a part of the syllabus and placement committee of the department, which is very important. Like, we need people from this background to come and join and understand what is the demand in the market. Where are the gaps between the people who are fighting fraud and the people who are doing the fraud? And that is why he is required. Presently, his work emphasizes exploring AI applications in fraud prevention and investigation, aiming to leverage cutting-edge technology in the fight against financial crimes. He brings an insight on the academia and the thought process existing in the educational institutes on how do they train the future fighters. Thank you, Mukund. Thank you so much. Welcome. Please, the stage is yours.
Very good afternoon to everyone. I hope I'm audible and clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, first of all, sir, for inviting me as a speaker. And believe me, I'm not just here as a speaker. To be honest, I'm here as a student, because the amount of age I have, people have more experience than that. So I am kind of making notes along with this only to learn more from everyone. Because see, as an academic, you can say a faculty, we are focusing on theoretical part and somewhat practical also. But what are the insights we have got from today's session? It's very amazing. I mean, Shinaz sir, Suraj sir, Kamaljeet ma'am, so they have given such a, brief, you can say in a brief amount of time, they have given so many thoughts, and so many, like, even the young minds, the current students which we are having. So they can learn a lot from this. And just, I'll not be taking much time, but I'll be sharing a presentation. I hope I'll be able to share it. I'll open my presentation.
If you can't, we can share it for you.
No, sir. If you allow me, because I made small changes in that presentation.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, yes. That's it. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, first of all, I would like to continue with where Bhagirath sir has, continued, because see, we do use, tools for investigation, because we have this course MBA in Forensic Accounting and Fraud Investigation. So we teach the fraud concept, plus we do the investigation part also. But I'm just showing you, one you can say replica of what we are normally doing now. We do have AI tools in our repository, and we use them for investigation. So I don't have the permission to show them the tools and not even the data, but I replicated the same for the people. So this is what I've done is I simply uploaded one bank statement in Chat GPT, just for some people had this question that where to start. So I'm just giving them an idea that where they can start. So what I've done is I just asked Chat GPT to simply summarize the statement. Oh, actually, the data I have kind of removed the name, because these are the real name of the bank account and the people, and this case is quite new in the domain, and still the part of the investigation is going on. So if you see, it's again, I am not saying show me top 10 credit entries in terms of volume. Automatically showing, so you don't have to take the pressure of using pivot tables, filters, and going for all the process. The AI is going to do it for you. But only condition is that the data should be very clear. This is the big problem we have been facing, because the bank statement which we are getting from the LES, every bank has different statement. I mean, even up to some extent, they are giving us the OCR copies. They are going to take the printout, they are going to put the stamp on it, and they are going to give us the PDF format. And believe me, that is a very big headache for us to do the analysis. So we use those softwares to convert that OCR into Excel and do the analysis. So it's a very big time-taking process, and sometimes it takes us weeks to do so. Because amount of data is sometimes very high. Peak at 15, 20, sometimes 30 bank statement at time is a big concern. The police officer comes with the concern that yes, they just want to, somehow some evidence to cancel the bail in the next 10 days, next 7 days. And then we have to start in the morning, sit till evening, sometimes Saturday, Sundays, even also till night. So that at least we get some proof that yes, we can stop that person or we can cancel the bail requirement. So this is, you can see one. Now I have asked him to show the some potential red flag we can identify. So automatically it's going to show me some high value transaction to this particular entity, and this some undiscussed discuss, you can say, business relationship, continuous transactions are going on, local bill discounts are going on. Normally this particular account has been debit facility has been blocked for this particular account, but just I'm showing you that you can start somewhere. It's not like that your hands are tied with lack of resources, or I can agree the AI software which are, they are very costly, so we have to use them very precisely. But ChatGPT is the one which is freely accessible to all. So everybody can use it, not just ChatGPT. Even you can use any other tool for AI. There are various LLM models available, and you can use any of the one for your choice. And I'll be showing you one more case of a WhatsApp chat, and this is just a sample again. Okay, I'm just showing you. We had this Posh case also. So imagine a WhatsApp chat of last 3, 4, or 5, 7 years. Now, they have given us the WhatsApp chat, they asked us to analyze. And if you see the beauty, this chat GPT had recently come a feature, earlier it was not. Now, this particular, I hope this chat is visible. Most of the languages in English, not in English. It's English, Hinglish. So even you can ask chat GPT to analyze, and chat GPT can do that also. And in India, we have this one that, apart from the chat in English, we normally, Gen Z and millennial, they chat in this English only. So even you can use to investigate not just the posh cases also, but the chats. Apart from that, there have been many cases where people have taken the screenshot of the transaction and they've deleted the one. Right, they have deleted the entry from the system, but yes, we had the screenshot, and based on the screenshot only, we were able to read it, and not just single one. Then, in particular case, one person was taking this screenshot of transaction every few hours. So here, you can say a good book log of around 15 to 20 transactions per day he was doing, and he would simply take a screenshot, delete from the system, to take the screenshot, delete for his own reference. Somehow, he deleted that you can say screenshot also, but our team was able to recover the data from the deleted. So we had the deleted screenshot, and we were able to take all the, you can say, data from there. So this is another example I'm showing you where you can start the analysis. Again, now this is one topic which I think many people have covered, this one for generative AI. But again, I'm showing you few of the you can say ways which we can use, and I can agree the generative AI is still in development. We cannot fully trust it. because this is what we even feel also. Because some of the cases when we were, kind of converting that PDF into Excel, or, asking the data AI to, show us the data or identity, it was making mistakes, right? Because, for example, the first mistake, it was doing the data difference between fraud data and false positive. And there was some data which had been manipulated in such a way that they were looking like a normal entries, but they were not. For example, we can say fuzzy logic. If most people must be aware about the fuzzy logic, the names very similar. Like, for example, they can manipulate the name to a particular vendor instead of MUKUND, MUKAND, right? Or MAKUNAL, Mukund or Mukund. So, the accountant or the particular person is going to think that these are the same people, so we can send the amount to them, but they are not. So, again, the salami technique we earlier discussed, they had taken a small amount every month from that particular organization. And again, accountant, in that case, accountant was involved and other people were also involved. But this is I'm going to show you, AI was not able to detect that. For AI, that was a genuine entry. Even we got confused that how it is possible. And again, we have to do the manual, we have to go through each and every possible. So there were, I think, if I remember, there were more than 6,000 entries for per year, for 6 months. And imagine the data for 3 years. So yes, if you have a very huge amount of data, you can give it to the AI, and yes, it can give you up to some extent, you'll be able to get some idea. I can give you an example of caseware idea, which most people must be aware. So they have this option called as Discover AI. Now you put your data and automatically is going to show you some red flags that, for example, this particular transaction has been done on Saturday, Sunday, or apart from the office hours. Okay. Or maybe, the particular transaction exceeding the limit. Or I'm just going to a little bit more technical, that if you have the same concept, same different concept, so you can use all those concept theoretical aspect and put them into the software for the use. But again, as everybody has said, do not be too much or dependent on AI. You will have to use manual intervention. And this is one place I would say our job is much more secure, because AI cannot take our jobs. And another, we can go for real time fraud detection. So I'll give you another example for that. As I'm adding to the list, there is a tool called as ACA Galvanize. Earlier, that was taken by some other company, but now Galvanize is in the hold of ACL software. So audit command language, where you can write the scripts from your own, and you can train the software. You can say, I'll not say exactly AI software, but yes, it has a feature because it can help you detect the data in the real time. You can use ACL to write the script and give some, you can say, parameter, that if it's able to find the transaction above 2 lakh, 1 lakh, or some particular parameters, it is going to identify them immediately, is going to flag you. So real-time fraud detection can be possible. But again, you need to have a little bit of knowledge of writing the script, and believe me, this is not difficult. We train our students in that also, and even we are also aware about it. And then important part is identifying the fraudulent patterns, because pattern identification is very much important. Few of the cases we came across, there was a corruption case we were investigating, and we identified the pattern, or you can say spending pattern of that person. Though he was a government officer, he was not supposed to have that amount of money, but what he was doing, he was spending very heavily. Like every 6 months, he's going outside India, sometime Mauritius, Saudi Arabia. Once in a year, he will visit to, you can say South India, Tirupati Mala, and all those places he was going. So simply what we did was we identified where all the places he was going into. So based on the pattern, we said that yes, this person is living a luxurious life, which is not as per the par with the salary he is getting. So that means definitely this person is having extra source of income. Initially, we found out that that person was accepting the bribes, and he was using those bribes and transferring the money in his sons and daughters' account. Even the son and daughter, they were, enjoying their good life, spending very heavily on food from Zomato, Domino's, and, lavish life. Like every week or so, they were ordering food from pizza and everything. So, when do the analysis be able to identify that, yes, but this is actually true? Because, and we did it simply. We asked ChatGPT to identify all the, you can say, expenditures in a single go, and all the credit debit. I'm not asking you to go into all different directions. Just go for credit and debit, and you'll understand. All the debits one side, all the credit one side. And you'll be able to get a brief idea. Yes, this person is involved in some kind of criminal activity, whether the person is earning money. And later it won't identify that yes, this person was taking bribe. And he was on a, you can say, a very good position, plus he had a very frequent public interaction. And we simply just, try to, they had this system in their office also, that whosoever person is coming to meet him, he has to write his name on a, you can say, piece of paper. He has to do entry in the, you can say, register, that meeting entry jo hota hai. So in that we also checked that register also, we find that there were number of people who were coming to meet him every frequent days. Like every weekend there was one person who was coming to meet him. So when the last time he came, we checked the CCTV and we were able to identify that yes, he's not coming alone. He is carrying some kind of a gift. So yes, that person are accepting the cash in the real time. And some of the cases, the money was directly going into his son's account, daughter's account, even his brother-in-law was involved. So now criminals are getting much more smarter. So you will have to do smart work. So this is what my opinion has been from the last 4 5 years. But yes, I agree with a few of the points. I'm not focusing too much on data privacy, manipulation. Regarding manipulation, I'll show you this evil version, which I've been successfully seen once, that ChatGPT rival Warm GPT, as ma'am said, that you can write malicious code. Right. Even I did the experiment. And I believe it is very easy. You don't need to be expert on that. Earlier, you need to have a knowledge of prompt engineering. Now there are websites available like Prompt Genie, where you just write what you want the ChatGPT to, and Prompt Genie is going to give you the prompt to write the code. Then there is essentially fraud GPT, where people are finding different ways. So you can say commit the fraud, and identifying the waste technique. And believe me, accessing dark web is not a big task. Okay, you just need a simple Tor internet connection, or not just Tor VPN also, so that you can minimize your activity and don't want a ISP to look into it. So with this limited, I'll be ending. But yes, to be honest, I'm here not, as I said, not just as a presenter, but as a student also, because we need to also learn a lot, and we want to part the gap which academia industry has. Because as we having this very specialized course, called as forensic accounting and fraud investigation, so we want our students to learn as much practical aspect, and this is why we are making them go to different places, learn the you can say people learning things. Okay, we want them to go to the market, learn things, especially the practical aspect. Theory is fine. We can teach them fraud triangle, fraud on hexagon, or you can say different window dressing theories. But we cannot, ask them to, complete the, you can say, commit the fraud, or to get the practical aspect. That is why this gap has to be minimized between industry and academia. And this is where I'll be ending, looking at the time concern. Thank you, sir. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to the team of MidCat for inviting me here.
Thank you, Mukund. Excellent insight. And you have brought out what exactly is the requirement. And I think you people are doing a great job to make our future preventers and fraud examiners. And I think somebody has made a point, sorry, that implementation of AI is not so easy and it is expensive. That also we have to realize. And yeah, Professor Triveni Singh admit, because he said we do not have. Do you think our police, law enforcement, and the other people are capable of handling AI? I don't think so. We have not reached that level. And this young generation coming and learning, and apart from the fraud examiners or the fraud investigators serving in various organizations, but they do only for their organizations. And again, there comes the questions of vulnerability. Like there was a instance where a State Bank of India branch was operating in one of the villages in Bihar. Can you believe it? It is just unawareness of the people that this bank cannot exist. So we are vulnerable. So now, of course, we are short of time. We have already shot, but I think this was been engrossing and a very engaging discussion we had. So I will take some questions. Before that, I would take the question with some of the uh, people have asked, and I would request, I would first go to Surat, and I will ask him the first question, which he has talked about. And gentlemen, just be short with your answers so that we can take the most. First thing I would ask Surat, and Mr. Raja can also participate in this. How do we protect ourselves? Okay, before that, I will say, why do you think we are vulnerable? And how do we protect ourselves?
So I think why we are vulnerable, I think we have discussed this in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Lack of knowledge, lack of understanding our rights, what we can do, what we can't do, and protection. I think what Mr. Raja mentioned, even Kanwaljit mentioned, and I think everybody touched on it, is more education and more learning about what can go wrong. Like Kanwaljit, always whenever we meet, she tells me that she never uses a bank app. With all the banking transactions, she being one of the leaders in terms of the education. Now she runs an institute also. She does hardcore forensic investigations also. But even then, she feels that the technology is not good enough. You are lucky if you are not scammed. You are lucky if you have not been defrauded. So it is better to go back to certain aspects as an old-fashioned thing. Some people
Yesterday and
tells me that, you mentioned, Abhijit, that while you are on the go, don't announce your whereabouts just like that online. Come back from a tour and announce where you have been. A lot of people have this habit of saying that my house is crying, it's empty, because we all in the family is going to be in Europe for next 30 days. Now imagine what can happen, who all is looking at it. And when you look at our friend list, we'll find that there are thousands of people who we don't even know. They're just there. Even their identities can be different. So who is watching? And then when you are outside, somebody calls you for visa vulnerability exercise, or somebody tells you that your SIM card is not going to work, your roaming is not going to work, and you suddenly feel that you are lost if your phone doesn't work. And then you are sucked into that kind of a environment. So having multiple strategies, multiple fallback strategies. What if the debit card doesn't work? What do I do? I should be careful in my mind. So in our daily lives as well as our official work, we should be careful. The method of multi-factor authentication should be implemented in our work life also. Suddenly we get a call to change a bank account or to transfer money to somebody else instead of somebody else. You will have to wait, give it a cooling period and check doubly. Right? We are not flying a fighter jet that if we don't decide in a millisecond, it's going to crash and it's going to create differences. So I think awareness, being careful about what assets we have, what assets we are handling, and that we are easily to be going to be prey to some fraud if we don't take adequate care. So stop, check, go. This methodology should be there in our daily lives also.
Thank you. Yeah, Raja.
Yeah, thanks. Mr. Mukherjee has covered almost all portions of that. See, only what I will stress upon the point related to awareness, which he also iterated during his mention just now. The awareness is we do not have one pill, that is going to cure all the illness. The awareness may be a closest thing. See, once when the system is going, or let us call for this anecdote, let me put it between the police and the robber. If the police is going to build a 10 feet wall, the robber is going to come up with a 12 feet ladder, right? And then he is going to increase the wall to 20 feet. He is going to dig a 5 feet tunnel. So the cat and mouse game is going to be there always. We need to be aware of that. And today we cannot, be relaxed that yes, I have the best system or best defense or best controls in place. That is not sufficient. It is just serving the purpose today, but there are thousands of brains that are working day in day out to break that and see how that can be breached and how that can be bypassed. The awareness about that is going to be key and going to help us to stay strong continuously. That's it, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So now, without wasting time, I will go to my next question. And I will throw this question to Kanwaljit. What are the ethical considerations and potential biases associated with using AI in fraud investigation? And how can we ensure fairness and transparency in decision making? Wonderful.
Though it's a straightforward and simple question to answer. I mean, we have a long way to go. So the first thing to begin with is that we as a human should know up to what extent we should use AI and technology. Correct. At the same time, if we have to reduce biases, we have to train the system accordingly. Because as of now, there is no specific mechanism which AI is using to reduce or prevent that biasness. So we have to train the system accordingly. At the same time, now we've been using AI so much in audits and investigation and banking and BFSI. So there has to be a system to check the logs back, just like a traditional audit, the way we do the transaction monitoring or we check the logs. Similarly, here there has to be accountability. There has to be audit of the systems as well. The first thing we have to understand that we should not rely on technology blindly.
Yes.
For example, if you just put a question towards ChatGPT, whatever answer it gives, most people believe that it is perfect. However, if you see, there is a disclaimer which ChatGPT itself gives that please check the data, check the statistics. It may be wrong, but we hardly care. Now I've seen a lot of posts on LinkedIn and blogs where people put the data which is technically incorrect. We are relying on technology so much that we are not cross-checking it. So the way we check the auditors work as well, we should do audits of the AI system as well. So that
Absolutely.
as so as I said in my previous conversation, it's like an assistant, right? You as a supervisor has to monitor it. Supervised machine learning is a concept where we should supervise what machine is doing, right? Machine may or may not be doing correct. So those ethical aspects need to definitely be considered. Biasness is something which, well, I'm not sure how long it does it take. If you look at the current discussions, there are a lot of concerns in the big corporate house that how will that be reduced. So if you talk about how open AI is working things, there are a lot of aspects which are going beyond control. So as of now, well, I'm not too sure how that biasness be reduced, but the only thing which I can put forward is we as a human, we have to be sensible as to what extent are we going to use technology and up to what extent are we letting the technology intrude in our personal lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Super.
Kalnal,
So,
with your
ah,
permission, to supplement Ms. Kanwalji, she made a very beautiful point. Absolutely, we are just depending on AI or
absolutely.
ChatGPT because it is beautifully structured language. We tend to believe well-written essays more rather than questioning the credibility of the essay. It is human nature. Okay, that's why we post, repost, and all that without blindly. My take in these matters is whenever you are indicting somebody, Kalnal, myself, we investigated many sensitive, sensational cases rather. Whenever you are indicting somebody or indicting some incident and writing negative remarks, ensure independently with the evidences that are available to you and make sure that you are not damaging the reputation based on a machine opinion given to you. Most important. Okay, benefit of doubt, I don't mind by beautiful language, falana falana. But indicting somebody or some incident and some organization, you should be extremely careful in independently verifying, ensuring, then only posting it. That is my bit of take on this.
Completely agree.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. But there was a question which I threw to Bhagirath. The question is that how do you think that, sorry, what do you think is an interesting area of AI to be augmented in investigations?
So, undoubtedly, taking the cue from rest of the speakers, will let us restrict AI to be used as a tool, I mean, as a mere tool. So data analysis and trends and patterns is something which is like reducing your man hours, reducing your efforts, but it is not inducing any sort of intelligence into those transactions. It's just reducing your efforts so that you can use your brain in strategic aspects of the investigation rather, right? So that was one area. And the other area is that summarizing the pages, as my previous speaker Mukund also stated, it was a very good use case. Summarizing not just the bank statements, but huge amounts of document, like 40, 50 pages of document is a small one for us as an investigator. But I have been in part of cases where there were 1,000 pages and 1,200 pages of summations and everything. We have to go through them and understand what is the focal point where you want to concentrate on. Now, definitely there is some sort of an inefficiency there, but we should always use whatever we have in our hand so as to optimize the time of investigation as well. That those are the two areas I feel that AI can augment and help us in a better manner. But other than that, I don't think you should much put reliance on the AI systems, because investigation is a very delicate aspect and sensitive aspect wherein human emotions and the impact is very, very huge. So I, for one, often when complete an investigation, a person loses a job, I feel very sad at the end of the day. So it's a very sensitive aspect. Let's use it as a tool only for data analysis and trends and pattern analysis. I think we should restrict ourselves to that.
Okay, thanks a lot. Kunal, can we will just come to the end of this seminar. Kunal, can we have the slide?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I will just end up with two slides, which somebody has asked this question, and it comes in this form, because this is very much expected. Somebody has asked, what are the challenges in investigations with AI? One, which again, everybody has brought out, especially Kanwaljit, is about the bias and the fairness, and even in the question people have asked, AI systems, AI systems can inherit biases present in the data they are trained on, leading to unfair and discriminatory outcomes. It can be based on the caste, it can be based on religion, it can be anything. So what we are talking, that don't take AI blindly, is absolute true. Again, which Kanwaljit had talked about, was the privacy concerns. The use of AI for surveillance and data analysis raises significant privacy issues. There is a fine line, actually, between effective law enforcement and the infringement of individual rights. Law enforcement cannot say that we are doing surveillance while you are pervading the privacy of an individual. Next is the transparency and accountability. With sorry, AI algorithms can be complex and are opaque, making it difficult to understand how decisions are made, which I think Arunava had brought out. This lack of transparency can hinder accountability and trust in AI investigations. Next is the resources and the requirements. Implementing, maintaining AI system requires significant resource and expertise, and we do not have. Law enforcement agencies may face challenges in terms of funding, training, and technical support. I was reading some days the amount of money required to train people, it is huge. Then coming to the legal and ethical issues, the use of AI in investigation must comply with legal standard and ethical guidelines. One of the attendees had asked this question, and in India, we do not have anything as of now, but I am sure it will be there one day or the other. And the last is the accuracy and the reliability. While AI can process large amounts of data quickly, it is not infallible. It is not. Errors in AI predictions or analysis can lead to wrongful discussions, accusations, or overlooked evidence. Now, coming to the last session, last slide, which I thought I must tell the audience. Kunal, can I have the next one? This is how to remain protected, which many of us have spoken same way or the other. First is verify the source, from where it is coming. You cannot think of Trump selling a hot dog or a pizza and advertising for that, or for that matter, Amitabh Bachchan selling a comb. You have to understand that what is the source. Is it possible? Check for the anomalies. Check what is wrong. Is it really looks true? And Surat had brought out about the use multi-factor authentication. The more you do, the more you learn, and more you know that this is tested and proven. Last is educate the employees, and like, you need to upskill yourself, you need to discuss, you need to spread the knowledge, you need to share it like all these expert speakers have done, because we can only learn from each other and save ourselves. And lastly is stay informed what is happening all around. With this, I will come to the session today. Thank you all so much. But before we go, we will have a vote of thanks from our director, Sandeep Sinha, of Integrity Risk Management, before we close the session. But before I go to that, thanks all the speakers. I am so grateful to you all. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for having all of
Yeah,
us.
over to Sandeep.
Firstly, I would like to begin by thanking Colonel Avijit Nandi, before I come to everyone else, for having conceptualized this online session for the benefit of the larger industry. Because, all of us get so caught up in day-to-day affairs that somewhere we forget that it is an equal responsibility of every corporate house to share its learnings and provide platforms wherein the experience and the gold nuggets of all that senior people have gained over practicing their expertise over a lifetime is shared with people who are starting off in their careers or are in the process of taking up senior responsibilities. So thank you so much, Avijit sir, for convincing all of us to do this. I would now like to thank everyone, my seniors who are present as panelists here, for having taken time from their very busy schedules. Starting with the keynote speaker, the opening address, Professor Triveni and Mr. Sharath, we are really, really indebted to you. So are we indebted to Surat sir, Mukund, Mr. Bhagirat, ma'am, Kamaljeet, Mr. Dhar, and Mr. Rajaraman. It is been a pleasure having you on our online session. And believe me, I don't think over the last couple of years have I attended a session on this particular subject with such participation, such brilliant speakers who have so willingly shared their knowledge. Why I am, reiterating this part is that if you see, once we advertised on LinkedIn and other professional social media, what we are trying to do, the number of registrations were one of the highest that we have seen in this particular subject. If you also see the number of attendees that we have, these are easily 240 plus and all. And these comprise a range of people. We have got students who I know because there are a couple of them sitting in front of me who are interning with us, who have been rapidly taking down notes. We have got practitioners in our midst who have been giving their comments on whatever has been spoken. And we also have got some very senior leaders from industry who now bear the mantle of sharing their knowledge and also warning us of the potential pitfalls of technology and this brilliant tool called artificial intelligence in the field of forensics. I really love what Ms. Soni said, and how lucidly she brought out the potential pitfalls of AI. I just, sent her a note saying that I hope the regulator is also listening to you, because, everyone's understanding of this very complex and vast subject may not be necessarily the same. And therefore, such seminars, such platforms provide brilliant opportunities for any and everyone to learn this ever-evolving field. Fraud, forensics, etc., is a need of the hour. There is no doubt that the human element may not be eliminated anytime in a hurry. And the particular pitfall with any new technology is that invariably its usage is for the wrong reasons in the beginning, before the acceptability and the technology basically stabilizes and thereafter is used for greater good. Take drones, for example. We were so excited that drones are coming and this and that, but recent years have shown us that the biggest threat these days is drones. So it is a wrong reason. It is not that the drone per se is bad. Same is the case with the with technology such as AI, and how even wrong or a misleading misrepresentation of a bank statement or a financial document can be made by something so convenient as ChatGPT has been so brilliantly highlighted. We have also talked of a plethora of issues, and I'm very, very grateful for that. The eminent panelists have spoken about the ethical, moral, governance, legal, transparency, privacy issues so beautifully. We have also touched upon several tools that are currently in use and what their pros and cons are. So once again, to all eminent panelists from the bottom of our hearts at MidCat, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and educating us. And from our side, I think we will continue these sessions so that again, as a responsible corporate player and as a responsible and trusted consultant, we share for the better what we are learning, and we will all strive to do better today than what we did yesterday, and we will strive to do better tomorrow than what we are doing today. So thank you very much, and thank you, Avijit sir, once again for the excellent moderation and the very well thought out questions and poking everyone's mind for better and better answers. I am very, very sure that the audience have greatly benefited from this session, and we will all look forward to interacting with each other, and we will all strive to continue making the world safer and a more secure place for us, our businesses, our families, and for society at large. So thank you so much once again. Back to you, sir.
Yeah. So, Ruth, are you there? Okay, leave it. So
Yes.
anyways, uh, so anyways, Sandeep has said, thank you all so much, and speakers as well as audience. We hope to see you all in future sometime again. We will try to organize something like this, and we'll try to contribute to each other's task or each other's contributory, how we can help each other and grow and save the society.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kalyan.
Thank you,
so much,
everyone.
sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.